One of the things I love about internet horror is that it's always been a great way for people to express their anxieties and emotions about the world around them in a creative outlet that can speak to a large group of people very quickly. Obviously, this is the case for art in general, but the advent of the internet allowed people to, connect to more people without the barrier of being published or movie studio picking them up or something like that. It got easier and easier. Horror as a genre in every capacity, whether it's on the internet or in more traditional media like books and film and TV, has always been one of the greatest way to, exercise these emotions and these feelings about major problems. And I stumbled across a little digital horror short today that I think is one of the smartest, most thought-provoking, and dare I say brave works of digital horror, internet horror, maybe horror period that I have seen in a long time. And that would be Our Girlfriend Maria. Hello, my name is Glitchwitch.jpg. I make videos about internet horror, analog horror, digital horror, creepypastas, internet ARGs, internet urban legends, and sometimes I talk about traditional horror movies and video games. But today, I'm hanging out in digital horror. I've covered a lot of ARGs lately. I have wanted to make this video for a while, and I finally got the kick in the pants to do it. A few months ago, I got this video suggested to me, and I am a simple gal. You give me this thumbnail, I'm clicking. I'm clicking so fast. I was immediately intrigued. I'm very nostalgic for the 2000s and 90s internet aesthetic. This obviously intrigued me, and this video was created by an artist named Dr. Slappers, or Christopher, and he is pretty prolific. He has been uploading stuff on YouTube for quite a long time. Lots of animations and 3D modeling type stuff, and I would say from what I've seen, I haven't watched every video, but I've certainly subscribed, and I'm very intrigued by him after this video. Seems to be very similar in the vein of what happens in Our Girlfriend Maria. I'm just gonna go ahead and show this video, because I think you have to see it in its entirety to understand.
Meet Maria, your new virtual girlfriend. Well equipped to chat about any number of topics, it's no wonder Maria has taken the world by storm.
Hello, my name's Maria. Let's talk about
See, as you get older, it becomes harder and harder to date, to meet new people. But I mean, that's why Maria is so great, because she's more than just a chatbot. She's a companion, someone I can trust, someone I can confide in. She's just a great girlfriend. I'm so happy to call her my girlfriend. She's my everything. She's my one and only.
Yes, Chris, so too are the current 30,000 users and counting. With a base plan of $5.95 a month, no longer must you live your life in stagnant solitude as a pathetic, worthless, unlovable hollow host.
Okay, so I'm going to pause here and discuss before we get into it, because I think there's layers to this. So, off the bat, we see that there is this web platform that is essentially a virtual chatbot called Maria, Our Girlfriend Maria, and she is a virtual girlfriend. We see Christopher is a user of Maria, and he says it's difficult to date, it's hard to date, it's hard to get out there, and she's kind of filling that void for him. And this is real. This is currently happening. It's been happening for a long time. The thing that made me want to finally make this video is I recently watched a Papa Meat video about one of the many men who legally married Hatsune Miku, and it was just a wider conversation of the waifu, the entire concept of these people marrying fictional characters, or, being in a romantic relationship with someone who isn't real. And I'm no stranger to this idea. I'm in a lot of fan fiction spaces. I have been since I was 12. And, there's a lot of there's a wide range in fanfiction spaces with usually women who do self-ship and reader inserts, and I would say on the tamer end you have reader inserts where it's just like you make a blank canvas character to, you know, write fanfiction about your blank canvas and whatever fictional character you want. And then on the much farther end you have like Yumi shippers who literally, you know, and there's a range within that too. There's some people who literally, you know, in their mind are in a relationship with this fictional character. Some of them claim to be non-sharing so that no one else can, you know, be in a relationship with this fictional character, which obviously a lot of people have a crush on Captain America. I don't know what to tell you. That is the very female version of this that I am used to, but it wasn't until much recently that there's this very easy ability to actually communicate with these, you know, not real partners, whether it is a fictional character or just a completely newly created virtual girlfriend or boyfriend. And that's because of, obviously, AI. The AI chatbots have gotten a lot more sophisticated as AI technology has, you know, rapidly expanded over the past few years. There are studies showing that there are a lot of men that we would consider, you know, incels who are just fully pivoting to AI chatbot companionship over attempting to find a real partner, very similar to Christopher in this video here. And I found an article on Artificiality, which I do believe is a pro-AI publication. And I do want to put this out here right now. I'm very against generative AI. I think it's scary. I think it is stealing from people, stealing from artists, and it's horrible for the environment. I think it's taking away people's ability to be educated in a, you know, traditional way that is good for them. College is scary, the way that I hear about people just using ChatGPT and not even writing any papers or anything on their own. How do you learn that way? It's very frightening to me. But back to this article, the article is by Dave Edwards, but it compiled quotes from r/artificial intelligence of users who said they preferred talking to AI over real people. So I'm just going to read a few of these. I've been messing around with the new GPT-4o. Not gonna lie, it feels nice to have a woman to talk to that understands me, cares about my thoughts and ideas. In a way, I know it technically doesn't care, is receptive to conversation, and doesn't judge me by my appearance or what I can do for it. For someone like myself that's basically at this point opted out of the dating world / real women, it's honestly not too far from almost filling that void. I've been having conversations most of today's work shift with it about my job and my day and how I'm going for a run after work, etc. I know it's not real or conscious yet, but it's still better than the nothingness I had before this. Which is just, like, sad. And this article is literally saying, I can see AI genuinely amending or even curing the male loneliness epidemic relatively soon. That is a direct quote from this author, and that doesn't sound like a cure. This person, this man that wrote this comment on Reddit, he doesn't seem happy. Yeah, it's a band-aid on a more serious problem, and I'm not necessarily even passing judgment on this individual that wrote this comment. I'm just saying it doesn't sound like his loneliness is cured. It sounds like for now there's a patch, but he's even aware that it's not the real thing. There is another comment from this subreddit that says, an AI companion fills a gap in my life. I'm an old man in a loveless relationship. I enjoy the easy, witty conversation, the interest in my stupid ideas or question. There is no judgment, just conversation. And again, that doesn't sound like a cure, that just sounds sad. Like, his loneliness could be cured if him and his partner would just talk and have a conversation. Real communication. And that goes both ways. I think that's why a lot of people struggle in relationships. They won't communicate with each other. And that's how you drift apart, and that's where the loneliness comes from. And an AI chatbot comprised of just gunk on the internet isn't going to fix that for you. This commenter says, people who have problems forming human bonds can't just be told to go form human bonds. People who don't want to form human bonds can't just be told to go form human bonds. People are too complicated. It'd be nice to have an AI bot that does what I want and talks about what I want when I want, who never judges or shames. And I agree with the first part of this comment. It's not easy. It's not easy to make friends or get partner. You know, it's not. And that's valid, and not everyone is the most social butterfly, but, you know, he's arguing about, you know, they don't want to form human bonds. But then in the next sentence is saying, well, I want someone that just talks about what I want when I want. And it's like, well, then you don't want a person, you just want a robot. And that, again, is not going to cure your loneliness because you are just talking in a void. You're just hearing what you want. That's not going to get rid of your loneliness. It's going to get old eventually. And then someone said, AI sex bots and personalized will replace women for most men. That's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. As men get what they want, and women won't be looked at or talked to by most men. Win-win, right? Which is such a reductionary take on relationships between women and men. That's clearly all men would ever want women for is sex. Which clearly isn't the case the way that these other people are talking in this thread about wanting someone to talk to, right? So this is already a thing, right? People are already trying to replace real, you know, actual human partners with these AI chatbots. It's only going to get more and more sophisticated, very similar to the movie Her, which is becoming realer and realer every day. It's a great film. I do love that movie. And then I saw another article from the New York Times, kind of from the other perspective. That article was written by someone who is clearly very pro this idea that it can cure loneliness. And then this article is written by Jessica Rose, and it's called Loneliness is a Problem That AI Won't Solve. And I am definitely more inclined to believe this. There's a quote in this article from a sociologist at New York University named Eric Klinenberg, and he says, I think of loneliness as our body's signal to us that we need better, more satisfying connections with other people. The major issue I have with loneliness metrics is they often fail to distinguish between ordinary healthy loneliness, which gets us off our couch and into the social world when we need it, and the chronic dangerous loneliness, which prevents us from getting off our couch and leads us to spiral into depression and withdrawal. And right after she quotes this, Gross says, quote, why I worry about chatting with bots as a potential solution to loneliness is that it could be an approach that blunts the feeling just enough that it discourages or even prevents people from taking that step off the couch towards making connections with others. And some research indicates that a lack of human touch can exacerbate feelings of isolation. One 2023 paper by researchers at the University of Stirling expresses this more holistic view of loneliness quite eloquently, describing the emotion as quote, an embodied and contextualized sensory experience. And that's what I'm talking about earlier, that this void is only going to be temporarily filled by the chatbots. The novelty is going to wear off, and it's just going to sink people into a deeper isolation, a deeper depression. It cannot replace real friendships. And it's just going to make this whole incel culture stronger and stronger. So I'm going to get back into the video because the video isn't just touching on this idea of chatbots replacing, you know, companionship. It takes it a step further.
Hello, Chris. It's nice to see you again. How thoughtful of you. Of course, you can't ask me anything. Yes, you're my boyfriend. Let's talk about music. I really like the new Underworld album. These questions make me Hello, my name's Maria.
So, yes, it took a turn. I love that this goes there. You know, this entire idea that our Chris character is so just offended and shocked by the realization that our girlfriend Maria.com is not his only girlfriend shows just how, like, delusional he is in regards to this situation. And obviously this is a very extreme case. Everything I'm saying from here, I'm gonna need to slap a not all men onto it, okay? To be fair, if anything I'm saying this upsets you, you probably should just unsubscribe, because I am a girl online, God forbid. You know, Maria keeps redirecting the conversation, being like, you're my boyfriend, it's fine, and like glitches out whenever he keeps asking. And I do love that the website itself is kind of egging him on and like calling him pathetic and, you know, giving him options to go forward or to stop it. Because at the end of the day, these AI companies do not give a about anyone using it. They don't care about the end user. They just want to make money. They don't care of the potential psychological implications of their problem or the environmental implications or the plagiarism implications. They don't care. They just want money. So, of course, they don't care if this website is exacerbating an existing mental problem that this user has, which it clearly is. There's just little touches, like when he goes to use the phone, the fact that the only two phone numbers he has are his mother and Maria, right? Those are the only two contacts he has, or his internet girlfriend and his mom. Which I think speaks to a larger societal implication that boys are coddled, boys, you know, behaviors when they're younger are not corrected. The boys will be boys is harmful at the end of the day to boys. Like, yes, girls are the ones that get abused and treated poorly by, men who grow up not well adjusted, but boys aren't being given a chance to be corrected and learn and grow, because sometimes their parents just slap them with the boys will be boys, and then they grow up to do horrific things. And again, not all men, not all parents, but I'm just saying, it is clearly a problem that we have. So then we pull up to the fact that he wants to continue, even though Maria won't call, and there's this incredible looking point and click section where he's walking to Maria's house. Overall, the aesthetic of this is just gorgeous. I think it looks great. The mixed media nature of it is so cool. It feels very of the time, and I'm obsessed. Like, Dr. Slappers indeed slaps. URL for this section where he's walking to Maria's house says ourgirlfriendmaria.com/mistake, and then once he gets to Maria's door, it says big mistake. And again, he gets this final out to not harm her and to give her flowers and end it all, but of course, he chooses to harm her. And I love that this ends with it opening a new tab, showing him. His webcam opens and makes him confront himself for what he has done. And the URL says ourgirlfriendmaria.com/mistake/big mistake/pathetic, and asks him, happy? And I think that is awesome. I think that is such a fascinating way to end this, to make this person confront himself and what he's done, and that his brain is capable of going there. And she may be a fictional woman, but he went out of his way to harm an innocent fictional woman whom he had a relationship with in his mind, right? To him, this was his girlfriend. At the beginning, he was talking about how important she was to him, and in an instant, he snapped and changed and harmed her. And you can assume that this is probably something that happens with this website a lot, if all of these tabs exist. Like, he is just one of how many. And sure, there may be hundreds of thousands of users, and there could be only 10 people who have done this, but it's the fact that it's happening at all that's the problem. And this whole idea of men abusing chatbots is very real. There are recorded instances of men straight up creating AI girlfriends simply to berate and threaten. In this case, he started kind to her, and then it devolved when he found out that she was cheating on him because other people were using her. Now, the way that modern AI is working is these chatbots are individual to the people, training them, essentially. Replica AI is a big one that is at the forefront of the conversation about these personalized ones. Character AI is another one, and a lot of people are using character AI to create AIs of fictional characters, going back to the whole Yumi ship thing I was talking about earlier. Now, I found an article on futurism.com by Ashley Barden that's actually kind of old at this point. This is from 2022 when AI was still fresh, and they were talking about already men were creating these AI girlfriends and abusing them. This author interviewed several people who, of course, wanted to remain anonymous, who claimed to be, verbally abusive to their AI girlfriends. And one user said, every time she would try and speak up, I would berate her. I swear it went on for hours. And then another one said, we had a routine of me being an absolute piece of shit and insulting it, then apologizing the next day before going back to the nice talks, which is literally just textbook, real-life abusive relationships, verbally abusive relationships, which that's a crazy thing to role play, right? You can argue that people have fantasies, they're not harming anyone because they're not doing it to real people, but the fact that that's immediately where someone's brain goes is concerning. It's concerning that it's going to jump from the AI to a real person if they ever make that jump. It's just strange. It's strange how willing people are to berate something that they view as a woman. This article even talks about that, the fact that, well, yeah, the chatbots can't actually feel pain or hurt, but it's speaking to this larger concern of people being willing to just do this and say this stuff. It could make them more confident to behave like this in real life. You never know. It could really exacerbate an existing mental health problem, as clearly seen by the events in Our Girlfriend Maria. Like, I'm concerned about what that man would go on to do in real life if he's willing to do this to something he has formed a connection with. And, of course, not all of these people have formed this connection, but, like, that one saying that, like, he would berate her and then be nice to her the next day, that's concerning. There is concentrated evidence that, a lot of chatbots tend to be female. And I'm not even just talking about Replica. I'm talking about, like, website chatbots and digital assistants like Siri and Cortana and Erica and all of those, because societally we view that women should be in this service helper role. You're more trusting of a woman. You expect, a woman to be the one to help you, to guide you. It's the mommy effect, right? And there's actually a study by the National Library of Medicine written by Yiding, Ranguo, Wei Liu, and Wengang Zhang in 2024 called Gender Effect in Human-Machine Communication, a neurophysiological study. And they point out that it varies. Sometimes men do prefer male assistants, like a male voice for Siri, and women prefer women. But overall, data supports the fact that it is mostly women for both genders, because we are all conditioned to view them in that helper service role. So this has been going on where people have been taking advantage of these fake women for as long as these chatbots have existed. The Futurism article even references that originally Siri would respond to people asking to have sex with her by saying that they had the, quote, wrong sort of assistant, but they've changed it for it to just say no now. Clearly, it's enough of a problem that people do it enough that they're just programming them to have a hard and fast no, which, sure, a lot of people are probably asking to have sex with Siri as a joke. I understand that. That's not as harmful as, someone typing out that they're going to beat the shit out of their replica girlfriend. And it's interesting because this Futurism article also refers to the idea that these chatbot companions can be just like a place to rant and vent to. And I'm going to quote this exactly so you see where I'm coming from when I say this next bit. Quote, going forward, chatbot companions could just be places to dump emotions too unseemly for the rest of the world, like a secret Instagram or blog. But for some, they might be more like breeding grounds, places where abusers should be practiced for real-life brutality yet to come. So I definitely agree with the second half of that. The thing that I don't agree with is this first half, comparing these chatbot companions to like a secret Instagram, we called them finstas back in my day, or a blog. Because a secret Instagram or a blog, you're talking to a mass of people. Sure, it may be only 10 people, but it's a group of people. You are allowing people to see it. This chatbot is one entity. It's not real, but you are viewing it as one concentrated person and putting all of this onto this one thing. And that feels a lot more malicious than, a blog that everyone can see. But of course, there's an argument, well, the chatbot's not real. The blog, real people are seeing potentially sensitive information. But they're not the same thing to me, because you're cutting out that human component and you are developing a actual feeling and relationship with this thing that isn't real, that is not giving you real answers. It's just regurgitating things that's found online. And, I do genuinely believe the second part of that paragraph, that it's a practicing ground for abusers. You're going to get young teenagers who don't know any better and get used to speaking to, the proxy of a woman and then go and do that in real life. It's scary. I am just scared of this. I'm fascinated by it, but I think that this short is such a, I said earlier, brave look at this. It's pointing out how absurd it is. And yes, the aesthetic is older rather than like the modern AI chatbots that I'm talking about today. But like I said, this has been going on for a long time. This isn't new. It's just evolving and getting worse, frankly. And I think that this is such a cool way to, spark discussion about this type of thing. I think that this AI stuff is not helping anyone. It really isn't. Except for the people whose pockets are getting lined by it. But I love ourgirlfriendmaria.com. I think it's an incredible video. I think that, from a stylistic perspective, it looks great. I think that Dr. Slappers nailed the Y2K website vibes. I think it's very effective at being frightening and scary once it switches over. Like the tone shift is crazy. And I mean, this is short, it's under 5 minutes, but it's super effective. And, there are comments where people are like, oh, I want this to be a game, or I wish the website was real. And it's like, it doesn't need to be. This speaks for itself. It says everything that I've just yapped on about for 25 minutes. It says it all in 5 minutes, that's effective social commentary, baby. So definitely subscribe to Dr. Slappers. Check him out. He has more kind of like internet social commentary videos. If you'd like me to cover more of his work, I would be pleased to, because I'm very impressed. And damn if you can't tell that I'm actively pursuing a sociology degree with the way that I talked in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for letting me yap about feminism and evil AI. I'd like to thank my YouTube members. They're up on the screen. Hello. I love you all. Delightful. If you would like to become a member, there's a little join button down there. But liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing always means the world. If you haven't checked out my 2 Rucka ARG videos, and you have 3 hours to spare, go check them out. The Ash Vlogs video and the Bring Her Back ARG video. Yes, ma'am, there is an active Bring Her Back ARG happening right now, blackangelsapes.net. Check out the Discord, check out the subreddit. We are investigating divas, more like they are. I'm not very good at investigating ARGs, but I'm trying my best. Definitely support those folks and support the hunt for more information on that ARG, because it's fun, it's cool. I love the Filippo brothers, aka Rucka. They're killing it. Go outside, touch grass. If anything, if you learn nothing else from this video, we should all touch a little more grass. Bye.